Yay Networks.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Ana Casillejos, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. My name's Nick Adams.
I'm Ana.
Amy. I'm Lacey G.
You guys, before we start this episode, have you ever wondered what Taylor Swift smells like?
Constantly.
Right? I can't be the only one.
I don't, Ana, because whenever I went backstage during my perfect concert, I literally had her Taylor Swift stink all over me.
Okay, well, let me know if it smells like this Taylor Swift Enchanted Wonderstruck perfume that I have in front of me. So one of our listeners named Renee actually sent this to me, or to us, in the mail as part of a little fan package. So awesome. I guess this is from... It must have been from the Speak Now era, since it's like Enchanted Wonderstruck, and she just looks very young in the photo. But I have it here so we can all smell it.
So this is vintage perfume. Is it still available?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
I doubt it. It looks like it's pretty old. I mean, it's called Enchanted, so that's a pretty old song of hers.
Yeah, Enchanted Wonderstruck. I doubt they still make it. Must have gotten it from, like, I don't know.
So if Renee sent this to all of us, is this kind of like a child custody thing? Like we each trade off weeks having the perfume?
I was thinking it'd be kind of part of our Taylor Swift shrine that we have.
Right. We could light our Taylor Swift candle, spray some perfume.
It does smell very Enchanted Wonderstruck. Like if I had to pick two words to describe it, it's Enchanted and Wonderstruck.
Now, would it be on what level, like 1 to 10? 1 not cheating, 10 cheating. If I had my wife wear this, would that be weird? Because then it would like remind me of Taylor Swift.
I think that's kind of like a little role play situation.
I think so.
That you're in.
That does smell very good, though.
It does.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot safer than you going home wearing it.
Yeah, that's true.
I would be very upset about that.
She would assume it's level 10 cheating if I'm coming home smelling
I want
like
you to
that.
just do it, and then because I mostly want to know her reaction when you say, no, it's actually the Taylor Swift Enchanted Wonderstruck perfume from 2010.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm sorry to be rude, but I totally just sprayed it on myself because I want to know how it works on me.
Fine.
I want to know what it smells like. And if I had to describe it, I would say it smells like delicious, fresh rain.
Yes.
Like the kind of rain that you smell whenever you're outside making out with somebody.
Yes.
Amy, is that what it smells like? You have so much experience with that.
I'm trying to pick out the scents. Is it like a sweet floral,
See, I'm getting
vanilla?
some vanilla undertones for sure.
Yeah, I like it.
It smells like come in with the rain.
Does it?
Of course it does.
Explain yourself, please.
Yeah, you should just know what that means.
I
Anyway.
think it smells good. Renee, thank you so much.
Thank you, Renee.
Renee, thank you so much for this perfume. We're going to fight over it. And thank you, if I can brag for a moment. Renee also sent Folklore signed CDs to Amy and myself. So we went from having zero anything signed by Taylor Swift to having 2 things. And I'm just feeling so lucky and happy in love. So thank you so much for that.
It's really, really sweet. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys, can I thank Renee for something?
Yes.
So Renee sent me not 1, not 2, 4 copies of the Lover album, and it's the deluxe set that came from Target. 1 through 4, it has like the journals, and there's different journal entries and stuff in it. He sent me all 4 of them.
All 4
All
editions.
4.
That's like Ana level because Ana will buy every
Everything.
single edition so
That's
she can
insane.
get it. So that's really
And
impressive.
That's awesome.
So I reached out to Renee and thanked him on Instagram. I sent him a DM and I said, "Are you a really big Taylor Swift fan?" And he said, "I guess you could say that." And he sent me this picture of a room in his house that is just covered in Taylor Swift stuff.
Amazing.
I mean, it is almost every signed album. He has a signed guitar. He has all of the actual vinyls.
It's an incredible.
It's insane, the collection that this guy has.
Is so beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I also, since we all went around the room and bragged a little, I'll also brag that Renee sent me an autographed Evermore album. Framed. It came with the frame. And Renee also knows that I also share love for Nick Jonas and sent me an autographed Nick Jonas album.
Aww.
I thought that was incredible. So thank you so much, Renee.
Well, Ana, your house could have a Taylor Swift shrine with all this stuff that you have going on, except for that conflicting Kanye West stuff that you have up in your living room.
I know, don't remind me. But the Taylor Swift is obviously outnumbering the one Kanye thing.
I did find a random Taylor Swift fact this week on BuzzFeed, and I want to know if any of y'all know this, especially Anna. While she was being interviewed back in 2013, she mentioned that she has something similar framed in our living room. Do you know what I'm talking about, Anna?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I imagine it's not still there because this is from 2013. But at that time, she said that she had a framed picture of Kanye West interrupting her at the 2009 MTV Music Awards in her living room. And it was captioned, "Life is full of little interruptions."
Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
And I'm sure she's updated since then and she doesn't need that reminder hanging over her.
Yeah.
But that was hanging invisible during the interview whenever
funny.
this was taking place. Yeah.
I love her.
But how cool to take something like that and put your own spin in a sweet message. That was her way of taking it back and saying life is full of little interruptions.
Yeah.
I just love her. And thank you, Renee. Thank you so much for the sweet gifts.
Renee, don't you send us anything else. That wouldn't be good. So Renee, just for you, we're going to break down Taylor Swift's song, Don't You.
Don't you?
I love that part after the chorus. So Don't You is a previously unreleased song from Taylor Swift, written for her 2008 album Fearless, but was actually released for the first time on her Fearless Taylor's Version album in 2021. It's one of 6 songs from The Vault that she included on the album.
So I have to correct myself because in the episode where we broke down You All Over Me, I said that in that video, in that cryptic video that she posted with all the Vault song title tracks, it was a clip of You All Over Me. It wasn't. It was a clip from Don't You that was reversed. So I just wanted to fact check myself from a few episodes ago.
I'm glad we know.
If I have to correct myself, it is era, not error. So forgive me for every time I've made that mistake.
Is anyone else getting clean vibes from this?
Absolutely.
Someone on Reddit said, as soon as I listened to it, it was like 1989. Is that you?
Amy, I found somebody did a mashup of
Ooh.
Clean and Don't You.
Don't you? Gone was any trace of you. I think I am finally clean.
Yeah, I hear that for sure.
That dreamy synth pop. It's so great.
It's so Jack Antonoff. Some of my favorite comments that I saw in the lyric videos, one says, if Gold Rush, Clean, and This Love had a child, it would be Don't You. And then another person said, this is Wildest Dreams, but sadder.
Oh, gosh. So what is she singing about? In this song, Taylor is singing about running into an ex she still has feelings for, find out he has moved on with someone else. She wants to move on too, but she can't. It's like kind of stuck in her head. She kind of wants to still be with this guy, but she doesn't. She sings, sometimes I really wish that I could hate you. I've tried, but it's just something I can't do. So he broke her heart in this song, and she sings about not wanting to pretend that she and her ex are still friends, which is what he wants to do. And whenever I was reading this, just maybe because it's in the Fearless era, is this Joe Jonas, who quickly moved on to someone else? Was he trying to stay friends also?
It could have been. I guess when I listen to it, I just don't think about him for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, but they're also in the same circles. So if she's still heartbroken and going through this, and then y'all are both superstars and running into each other backstage or doing something. So I think it very well could be about him.
Well, she said to Spotify, she said, Don't You is a song I wrote with Tommy Lee James, who is a fantastic writer. We wrote it about the idea of seeing someone that you used to have a thing for and seeing them out in public for the first time after you've heard that they've moved on and that, your life is kind of in shambles and they've moved on and they're really happy. And it's almost like even when them being nice to you hurts because you're in such a state of pain and you haven't moved on yet. So that was a really fun song to write because it's just a wellspring of emotion to draw from, and Jack Antonoff produced it, and I think he did a really, really beautiful kind of job highlighting the melody and letting it just be airy, sort of like a dreamscape.
Yeah, it's definitely another way that Taylor perfectly captures emotions that a lot of people felt if they're seeing an ex that they're not quite over with, because she's saying, don't you smile again. Don't look at me. Don't you talk to me again, because that's just going to drag me back down to this hole that I'm trying to get out of. And she makes a whole song about it.
It's pretty and sad and angry at the same time.
Aren't most of her songs like that?
Yeah, it's a pretty good description. It's sad, beautiful, tragic, if you will.
But it does show how much she's evolved whenever she was angry and don't you smile at me and don't you talk to me, to then in Folklore, whenever she's singing about the one, then she's wondering about her ex. Like, I could see you hooking up with somebody else and bringing him home, and I could see you. Then it wasn't looking back in all this hate. It was like, oh, I wonder what could have been with you because we're not going to be together anymore.
Yeah, that is interesting because if you've ever had a bad breakup, you at first want to try and get over them, and then years later, you're like, were they the one? You know? And then you start getting back down into that hole again, I guess.
I do think I picked up on a Beatles influence. When she was 22 years old, Taylor Swift, in a People magazine interview, she said that she's a big fan of the Beatles music all of her life and is in awe of what McCartney has achieved during his career. And then we know that she rescheduled Evermore release date because of competing with his upcoming album. So in the intro of Don't You, there's this flute that she has, and it's very similar to Strawberry Fields Forever from the Beatles.
And so now here's the Beatles' Strawberry Fields flute. Yeah, I wonder if she was super inspired even back then by the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Do you think Paul McCartney now is the real Paul McCartney? Do you believe the theory that he was he died and they found a Beatles lookalike?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
it's the same guy.
And
I don't know.
the one of the theories is that then they started getting super experimental, and so like that was the way to hide that he didn't quite sound the same as the original Paul McCartney.
Do you think Taylor Swift is the original Taylor Swift?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely,
There's
the
only
one and only.
Avril Lavigne, though? No.
Well, because there were theories that she came from someone else, some super witch of sorts.
Taylor
And-
Swift?
Yeah.
What?
That she was cloned from some super witch who had all these powers. I saw it on TikTok the other day, y'all. It's facts, okay? Everything on TikTok is true. Yeah, but she was cloned because people of that high of a power or something are the only ones that you could. And then pictures of them, they do look a lot alike. But this was a witch, and then Taylor comes out and she's all super and light and sweet. So it's almost just like the polar opposite.
Maybe that one person was right when they said we need to get help.
The only witch that I could see having the power to do that would be Catherine Hahn from WandaVision.
Yes.
Or the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. They're
Absolutely.
the only ones I would believe that would do something with Taylor Swift.
And then
like
obviously the Witch remix of Willow, the 89th remix.
that. Yes. Well, that's it for our breakdown of Don't You. What did we miss? Let us know. All the ways to contact us are in the description of this podcast. So join us next time. Make sure you subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. Leave us a 5-star rating and leave us a good review. So next time,
We are so excited, obviously, because we know that the next Taylor Swift, Taylor's version album we're getting is Red. Right? We're all super, super excited. And I think one of the biggest takeaways is that she said that she's going to do a 10-minute version of, we all assume, All Too Well.
Yay!
And so for this week, since we have to wait until November, unfortunately, which feels like decades away, to hear the 10-minute version, we had a great idea. Why wait until November where we can just write the 10-minute version?
Thanks for listening to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.